Alright guys, hello and welcome back to Midwest Charge. You joined me the day before our trip because we need to plug in. We're at 34% battery and I want it to be at 100% so we can go from here to Chicago in one shot. Hello and welcome to Dayton from a rainy and wet Ohio. It is 3:20 in the morning and we are just about to get on the road on our way up to Chicago and then the border of Illinois and Iowa. I don't remember. I'll have to recheck PlugShare where exactly we're going, but I'm just excited about the food, to be honest. So first stop's going to be Stella's Diner in Chicago, but before we do that, we got to pick up my co-host Ethan. So let's roll. Alright guys, we are on the road. We've picked up Ethan. It is time to head to Chicago for some breakfast. Great. Welcome back. We are in Fair Oaks, Indiana. And as you can probably see here, we have 14%, an estimated 3% arrival to the Merrillville, Indiana charger. It's the last supercharger before we cross into Illinois. And we have been getting 249.9 miles per kilowatt hour as our average efficiency. We are 250 miles into the drive, and we have another roughly 30 miles to go. So it'll be 280 miles in about 4 hours from when we began to when we will be stopping for our first charge. It's going to be quick. We're going to roll in with 3%, probably charge to 20 or 25, and then keep on going because our breakfast stop is actually right next to an urban supercharger. So we'll be able to plug it in and let it charge up there while we sit down and have a good meal. Alright, we are approaching the Merrillville Supercharger, so we're going to go ahead and get ourselves plugged in here momentarily. Charge up to about 20-25%. Sweet. Plugged in. This is a 20 stall installation. There's 8 version 2s here, 12 version 3s here, and a 4 stall 2 post Evans site, EV Indiana, something like that. It's a charging site with CCS for non-Teslas. Here's what those look like. Unfortunately, they appear to be dead. So these are the new Tritium 150 kilowatt chargers. But yeah, they're just completely offline. That is not cool. We're up to 12% for some reason, only pulling 174 kilowatts. So I'm not sure if there's some kind of site level limitation here or exactly what's going on. The cooling fans aren't going that quick, so it seems like a charger problem. But we don't need that much power anyway, so we'll be all right. Let's see if we can get. Oops, that's music. Yeah, charging rate limited by charging station. So not sure why, but we're only getting about 500 amps, 400 something amps here instead of the typical almost 700. Fun things. Last week I was driving, unfortunately somebody decided to merge into this vehicle. Not super cool, but if we come around to the front, we can see our old friend Condensation making yet another appearance on these poor headlights. The front of this car is absolutely disgusting. I don't know how well it comes across on video, but we're gonna need to give this thing a good car wash and scrub when we get back. Realistically, this is the kind of issue that I would usually switch stations for, you know, if I was on like a road trip to Florida or something. But Ethan actually just made a run into Meyer here for some coffee, and we really only need like 5% more here, and then we're gonna move on anyway. So yeah, it's not 250, but it's fine. I mean, we're still getting 170 something, almost 180 kilowatts. Right, after what I think has been maybe 3 or 4 minutes tops, we are just about ready to go. We're at 25%, still pulling 176 kilowatts. Yeah, our last leg was 4 hours, well, 3 hours and 58 minutes, but basically 4 hours, 250 watt-hour per mile on the dot. And as soon as Ethan comes back with his coffee, then we are going to roll out. And Ethan running in the distance, so we're going to go ahead and unplug real quick. Disconnect. About 43% state of charge. Hop back in here, 43%, 27% estimated arrival to the Chicago Supercharger. What did you get coffee-wise?
Oh, yeah.
We gotta see what the haul was.
Starbucks double shot.
All right.
And one of these for later today.
That's disgusting.
I know.
Let's go. So, we're in FSD. I click the button here. FSD works. It goes. I turn off FSD. I switch to autopilot. So we can see here, autopilot settings, auto steer beta. And then I click the button, nothing. No adaptive cruise, double click, no lane centering. I go back to FSD. I click the button, works instantly. We have arrived at the Supercharger next to Stella's Diner. However, I have made a grave mistake. It is 7:47 a.m. and the diner opens at 9. So we're going to go ahead and plug in here, charge up to probably close to 100%, and, well, figure out something else to do for the next hour, because we just drove like 325 miles to have breakfast here. I love how tiny these little urban superchargers look. A version 4 dispenser looks kind of similar, but is like twice as tall. Okay, we're at 98% state of charge, and Stella's Diner is about to open. So let's get ourselves unplugged so we can find a parking spot and get some good breakfast. Oops. right, let's go. Alright, we are back after a wonderful, wonderful breakfast at Stella's Diner. And, well, now I need to open my phone and see where we're actually going. Alright, looks like we are headed to Steamer's Stop in Fulton, Illinois. It's the site of a ready charging station. It looks super cool, so we'll have to check it out. We are 2 hours and 40 minutes from the charger. We should get there at 50%, so let's make our way out of Chicago. Check this out. If you've seen my video on Memorial Day going to and from Florida, then this will look strangely familiar. We're on FSD. It's working just fine. All right. I'm going to turn off FSD. We're going to switch modes. Here you can see auto steer beta, traffic aware cruise control. No cruise control. Double click. No auto steer. Switch back. FSD works flawlessly. Why? I have absolutely no idea. Alright, we are almost to the Red E Energy Station. We're looking for a small gas station with a sign that actually shows the cost per kilowatt hour, which is super exciting. So we have just finished the, 150 miles from Chicago to Fulton, Illinois. And it looks like up on our left, which is a good thing because this road is closed. But up on our left is where we should hopefully find this currently, as far as I know, one-of-a-kind EV charging station in North America. I'm just going to pull all the way through. That is such a cool setup. You got canopies, lighting, everything. So we're here at the Steamer Stop in Fulton, Illinois. Let's go ahead and get plugged in real quick, and then we'll do a site review. So I've got my CCS to NACS adapter here. Using the Tesla. We'll pick side A on CCS. Plug in the adapter. Walk over here. Open the charge port. Just kind of put it in. So Ethan, what are your thoughts on the station, the location, the charging experience?
Well, I gotta say, I love the gas station like feel to it. It definitely feels like you can just kind of pull in and fill up like a traditional gas station, as I just said. Yeah, pretty easy and intuitive to use. Pretty neat. Hope to see more stations like this around the area and home, obviously.
Sweet.
charge for the rest of our trip. Obviously a little overkill, but once again, support the local business. So, I'm just gonna hit stop here. Stop charging. We're gonna click off, and we're gonna go ahead and do some stats here. That just kind of disconnect this from. Obviously, want to remove our. There we go. Remove ours.
Yeah, so quick note for the viewers, if you do come here in a Tesla, there are no adapters available. You do need to bring your own CCS to NACS adapter, so just keep that in mind.
Yes. So yeah, looks like it gives us our kind of receipt, if you will, and then back to the screen here. That's pretty much it. So let's get out of here.
Sounds good.
I definitely get the small town feel. It seems like everybody kind of knows each other here. So it's interesting to see people kind of walk in and, you know, as they say, it's like family.
For sure. I was in the convenience store for a few minutes, and I think of the 4 or 5 customers who walked in just while I was perusing, looking for some food and drinks, the clerk, super nice lady, she knew every single person there by name.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all.
So, the charging station in Fulton, Illinois, Steamer's Stop. I know we kind of already talked about it a little bit, but I just wanted to give kind of my impressions and see what you thought of it.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting site layout. I really love the pull-through design. I think it could probably benefit from some markings on the ground to kind of differentiate between the 4 places to charge, because there are actually 4 plugs. There's 2 stalls, but there's 4 plugs. But it's not exactly clear where to park the vehicles, and maybe that's on purpose. But yeah, other than that, I mean, the site layout seemed pretty nice. It's the kind of thing that I would love to see in more towns, in more cities.
I would agree with that. Yep, that'd be really cool to have that option. Obviously, I mean, we have a couple of superchargers around the Dayton area. There are obviously other chargers as well. But where I live, there's not a ton. So it'd be really cool to have more localized infrastructure, kind of like that.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a case to be made that if you don't have home charging, then maybe an EV is not for you. At the same time, if we had more charging stations like the one we just visited, you know, kind of just your mom and pop corner store where you can go, you know, grab a bite to eat or some pizza or whatever. They actually sold whole pizzas.
Yeah.
You know, where you can go get some food, hang out for a minute, say hi to the people. It's kind of more of a community spot. Then I could see a real benefit to the community for having that kind of option available.
Right. Yeah, obviously other locations, I mean, like the one on the way to Chicago, that's right next to a Meijer, so not much community there unless you like hanging out at a Meijer.
Yeah.
But yeah, having easy access, I mean, that's part of what makes road trips fun with friends, is stopping at the gas station, getting snacks. Being able to do that now and an EV is definitely beneficial.
For sure.
So yeah, it looks like we got more cornfields, the real Midwest.
Yeah.
Although it's not much different. Me and Antonio were talking about how really this looks about the same as the Dayton area. Well, at least outside the city, I should say. There's not much more than what you're seeing out here, just cornfields and farms.
Yeah, you could blindfold me, put me east of Dayton on a highway, and I would not be able to tell you the difference between that location and, where are we? Morrison, Illinois.
Yeah. Definitely not.
This is a bit of a tragedy, actually. The brisk strawberry melon brisk iced tea, 0% juice.
Yeah, very healthy, obviously.
Oh yeah. Per container, 190 calories, not bad. 340 milligrams of sodium, that's 15% of your daily intake. Added sugars, 49 grams.
That's well over the recommended amount.
97% of your daily recommended intake of sugar. Right here. This is all you need for a day.
Yeah. Well, I'm about doing the same here. Only half healthy with the Gatorade.
We need stores and restaurants like Whole Foods to take more of an interest in fast charging.
That would be really cool. Yeah, I think the idea, I mean, kind of what Kroger has, where you just park, charge, walk in. But yeah, having a store like Whole Foods or smaller grocery store chains that could implement this would be really cool as well.
Yep. Yeah, I just couldn't think of a small one off the top of my head while I was talking.
Yeah, I don't really shop at Whole Foods that much, to be honest, but
yeah, that kind of layout is actually what excites me so much about the new Iona rechargeries that have been announced and are upcoming that haven't been announced yet.
Yeah.
Is the whole idea of a full-fledged rechargery. You have about 12 high-power charging stations, a canopy over them, a driver's lounge, and in, I believe, most, if not all, of the rechargeries, they also partner with a local business to provide some kind of like food service or something like that. So the flagship Apex location, partners with it's been a little bit since I've been there. I think it's like a bakery. So there's actually like a bakery in the store. I believe there's another location. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they've talked extensively about partnering with local businesses to make sure that there are local authentic food options at their locations, which I think is a huge opportunity both for the small businesses and for the drivers to not have to just live off of brisk tea and Cheez-Its and Sour Patch Kids.
Right. Yeah, I agree, and that's one of the best ways to attract business as a small business. Well, as a local business is having infrastructure that is required, but also providing necessities like food and rest. So definitely a pretty solid move there. Minutes out from our Supercharger Chicago destination, right above the Stella's Diner. So far we're hitting a bit of traffic, so I believe we're on a detour right now. But yeah, that seems pretty average for Chicago, I'm sure. We are 0.2 miles away from our Chicago destination. Chicago traffic is, as you can imagine, normal 4 p.m. Chicago traffic. So we're going to be in the same parking garage as before, like we were at this morning with that one Supercharger. We might go to Stella's, or we might try what appeared to be a Chicago dog place across the street. So
yeah, we're going to be arriving with a 48% state of charge and we'll be plugging in and probably just letting the car charge up to whatever it ends up charging to while we snag a bite to eat. So we've got the charge limit set to 100, and there are 4 of 8 stalls available. These are 72 kilowatt urban superchargers. I did not talk much about them this morning, but that means that they are permanently split power, 72 kilowatts maximum. So not very high power, but just enough if you're stopping to go shopping or get a bite to eat. They are 44 cents per kilowatt hour right now. I'll have to go back through my footage. I could have sworn it said 42 during peak hours this morning, but it looks like it's 44 cents per kilowatt hour now. And let's get ourselves plugged in. Just ticked up from 47 to 48%. Charge rate limited by charging station, but we already knew that was going to happen. No big deal. Alright, so it thinks based on our normal driving that we've been doing across the highway back and forth the Midwest here, that we should get there with 0%. That seems like a good amount of energy to me. So let's go ahead and unplug at 96, see if we can't make it the next 313 miles without stopping. Alright, this is helpful. I have not seen this before. Busy supercharger station, congestion fees apply. Please move your vehicle so others may charge. So right now, it thinks that the station is full. The station is actually not full. There is one more stall here that's available, but it thinks that it's full. So we are getting dinged with 50 cent per minute congestion fees. So let's go ahead and stop charging and move on out. All right, so we have 1, 2 open stalls. This one is now free as well. All right, we are on our way down the parking garage. We have now visited Chicago for Stella's Diner twice in one day. What are your thoughts on the city, the charging, and the food?
Obviously Chicago. Driving through it, it's pretty busy. The food is good. Cannot recommend Stella's enough. If you were ever in the area, please stop by. It's good stuff. Yeah, I mean, the city itself has got some interesting infrastructure. You see a lot of people on Lime scooters everywhere. I mean, like, I was gonna say there's one right there, but maybe not. But like, every like 30 seconds, I see someone fly by on a scooter of some sort, whether it's personally owned or Lime. So people out here definitely love to commute via alternative methods to the automobile.
Yeah, it's really interesting because we live in a city, but not like a big metro area like Chicago. So there aren't really any prevalent rental scooters or rental bikes or anything of that sort anymore. I think there was a small rental scooter program for a little bit in Dayton, but yeah, it's just not something you really see all that often.
Yeah, I mean, what is? Uh-oh.
I have no idea what FSG.
I thought I was gonna take a left turn for a second.
Holy moly! Okay, never seen that happen before.
Only in Chicago.
Yeah. So we were just turning. I have FSD enabled, and it got into the left lane to make a left turn, and then for some reason it now it says object and path. It wants me to take over. But it was in the left lane, and instead of turning left, it turned its right turn signal on and just cut off a Honda Civic to get into the right lane so that we can make a left turn up here because it's like a minute faster, which, great, it's a minute faster, but also you can't just take a right turn from a left lane and cut people off. That is not okay. Okay. Did you have any other thoughts?
Yeah, I was gonna say with FSD, it does handle mostly handle city roads decently well. Although, as we just saw there, sometimes it can get a little too aggressive. I like to take manual control in heavier congested areas, just for that extra bit of, I don't know, control.
Yeah. I mean, you don't want a system that is, for all the benefits that FSD has in its approach to autonomy, it is by definition an unreliable system in that it won't always do the same thing at the same time in the same place every time.
Yeah, I mean, for emulating a human driver, sure, pretty good. But yeah, obviously, you definitely want to be on your toes out here. There's little room for error, and as outsiders, we don't know how to drive here. I guess we kind of do now, but yeah. So, bit of a trust issue with FSD, but obviously, once you get outside the city, I mean, it's about as solid as you can get.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just super easy to just chill out, and as long as you're looking forward, you're good.
Yep. And for those curious, we are driving on version 13.2.9. So if you look back at this video, 1 or 2, 3 years, and you're like, that's crazy, FSD would never do that. That's the version.
Yeah.
Quick rant about the state of the Tesla route planner. So when we left, it said 0%, you have enough energy to continue your trip. Now it says -3%, not enough energy to make it. I don't really know. I mean, it's the same car, it's the same drivers, it's the same route we took this morning. So not really sure what's changed, but we'll just keep an eye on it as we continue on. There's a lot of superchargers, not a lot, but there's a good amount of supercharger density between Indiana and coming back into Ohio, so I'm not too concerned about running out of power because there are many places to charge on the way in. But it's a little frustrating because the route planner last year was very overly optimistic, and it seems in their attempt to correct this problem, they have now made it overly pessimistic, which is a better side to be on, but still a little bit annoying. as someone who's trying to constantly achieve a 0% arrival to my ultimate destination, it's a little annoying when the route planner is 4 or 5% off. Quick update: we are moving at such a breakneck speed that we have improved our route planner estimations from -3 to -2% arrival, mostly because we've been cruising at a blistering 5 to 8 miles per hour. There is hope yet. We have an estimated 1% arrival and 293 miles remaining. Alright, we are a little more than halfway through our final drive from Chicago back to Dayton, and the stats are currently 177 miles driven, 40.2 kilowatt hours used. We've been on the road for about 3 hours, and we've been averaging 227 watt-hour per mile. in Richmond, Indiana. We've just pulled into the, I believe this is an 8-stall or maybe a 12-stall. Yeah, I think it's an 8-stall Tesla Supercharger. So we're going to back ourselves in. We're at a 17% state of charge. We have driven 255 miles. We've averaged 225 watt-hour per mile, which is 4.5 miles per kilowatt-hour. All right, version 3, you can tell because the collar here is black. Version 2 is silver collar. The difference, 250 kilowatts for the black collar. Silver colored ones are 150. And the little tiny urban superchargers you saw earlier today, those are 72. Let's get ourselves plugged in. Take about 5 seconds for the handshake. And green. So we are now charging. It should show on the screen here. If you want to just pop the camera in there real quick. So we're at 17%. And actually, if you close the door, then it'll show the whole screen. It may not work on this side. Whatever, it's fine. But yeah, so we're at 17%. And now we're up to 18, getting 250 kilowatts. We're up to 20%. We've ramped down to 232 kilowatts. We now have a slated 4% arrival. So 21%, we're going to go ahead and unplug and get back on the road almost as quickly as we arrived. Hello, Richmond, Indiana. And goodbye, Richmond, Indiana. All right, it has been, what, 14 hours since I last tried this, I think?
Yeah.
So we're going to try the FSD switch, turn off FSD, turn on adaptive cruise control, see if it works. So we will turn off FSD, switch over to my profile that has auto steer and adaptive cruise control. We will stop for the 4-way stop sign. All right. Now we'll try it. Cruise control unavailable. Try again now that we're on a well-marked road. No. And no auto steer. Bummer. Go here. We just have the generic cruise control unavailable alerts. Switch to my FSD profile. FSD works perfectly. We are approaching a train crossing with an active train. So we've got FSD on, just letting it do its thing. It appears to be approaching cautiously, as it should. And it pulls right up to the track. Well, just about. Close enough.
Look at that. Oh, what's that?
Yeah. Yeah, some of the visualizations need some work. That's definitely not a stretched car. Those are not jittery stoplights, but you know, I mean, it stops. That's the important thing. It doesn't drive into the train. Quick summary, because we're not about to do that again to reenact anything. FSD just took us like all the way down an exit from where we got off, because I guess the highway is closed going east on whatever that is, I-70, I think. So we tried to get on the highway, and it turns out this on-ramp is closed. So we went past the on-ramp, turned around to take the other direction's on-ramp, and that one's closed too. So we went in like 2 circles for no reason. We went down an exit for no reason. So now we're just kind of doing something here. Oh, there we go. It has finally rerouted correctly. But I was just overriding it going in a straight line because this road roughly follows Interstate 70. So we're just gonna head down this 55 mile an hour US 40 east for another 9 miles to the next on-ramp to Interstate 70. All right, we are 45 miles from our destination, Dayton, Ohio. We have just crossed the 9 miles across, was that US 70 or 70, US 40 East, I think. Just a little road that runs parallel to the Interstate. So we are now hopping on Interstate 70. This exit is open, which is an important distinction. Let me just double check where I'm at. Yeah, okay, cool. Lewisburg. This exit looks remarkably like the exit in, well, near Springfield, Ohio. A little bit closer to Columbus, where there's a Travel Centers of America and a Pilot Flying J on the other side. But anyway, back on the Interstate. 17%, 5% arrival, 225 miles per kilowatt, 225 watt hour per mile so far. All right, we have made it back to Dayton, Ohio. Thank you so much for joining us. Some quick trip stats. We covered just about 1,000 miles today. We did it in, I think it was 19 hours and 45 minutes total. But a lot of that was stopped time, working on some stuff, filming, that kind of thing. And 235 watt hour per mile was our average efficiency. So somewhere in the low 4 mile per kilowatt hour range. It was a bit of a long trip for sure. Made a little bit worse by not having adaptive cruise and lane centering. I don't know what on earth is going on with this car, but hopefully we'll get it solved. We actually have a service appointment for it tomorrow, so hopefully we'll get that sorted. As far as chargers go, the urban superchargers worked exactly as intended. The superchargers were great bailout options on the way to Chicago and on the way back. We could have made it all the way back without stopping to charge, but it would have been very close, and we might have had to slow down like 2 or 3 miles an hour. And I was like, whatever, we'll just, hop off the highway, charge, be good. The charger in Illinois, super cool. The station, I believe it was a partnership with Ready and, do you remember the Steamer Stop?
Yes.
Was the name of the business. Super cool business, very friendly staff. That was super awesome. I love to see infrastructure like that, and I hope to see a lot more of it popping up across the country. Although it shouldn't be a novel idea, here in North America, the idea of a sign that tells you how expensive the power is unheard of. I mean, that is literally the only location I've ever heard of that does that here. So I know it's more of a thing in Europe, particularly in like the Nordic countries, but unfortunately it's just not something that's common here. So hopefully we'll see more and more of those pop up. Because the layout, the design, the concept is super cool. All right, so Ethan, what were your impressions of the trip and the chargers?
Well, there are a lot of bumps along the way, as one would expect. It's good to see Chicago again. Stella's Diner is always a must stop for me, at least. The charging experience, especially at our final destination, was pretty interesting. Hopefully we'll see more of that spread out around more of the Midwest, and maybe get to use more of that someday.
Couldn't agree more. And with that, we will see you later. Okay, 11:40 p.m. and it works inexplicably. I do not understand this. That dude is jacked.
You didn't see? Yeah, that was like the last time we were here. We saw a bunch of. There must be a gym nearby.
There's gotta be. Oops, still playing the music. All right, we have arrived. Just search for DC fast chargers near Iowa. Trust me, there's not that many, so it's found it. There's like 4. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, get that. Please get that on video. That. We are in the Midwest now, baby. He's actually driving it across the street. That's amazing.
Nice.
But if I can do that.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Awesome.
That's actually genius.
Sometimes my genius is almost frightening. serious. Okay, not really, but